Did you know that the majority of the kids who took the SAT this year aren't prepared to succeed in college? Nice. That's including us. So parents, with the holidays here, how can you take advantage of this downtime to get your child on track to make the grade? That's where James Dinke from Waterton Group, a leading test prep agency in Dallas, comes from. And what can you tell us? I am the perfect candidate for all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so you just have a son who was accepted at...
Yes, just yesterday we got the announcement that he was accepted to tech.
That's so exciting. So for students, you know, before your son's age, right, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, there's a lot that they can do to prepare for a test like the SAT or the ACT. One of the first things that, you know, we realized, as I'm sure you know, high schoolers don't have any time. They're probably busier than a lot of their parents.
The homework load itself is intense.
Yeah, I mean, they're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week.
They really are.
And they're encountering the most important test of their life at this point, right?
It is.
So a little bit of planning will go a long way, and we feel that using the holiday sort of break, that two and a half week period, would be really beneficial to help plan out your future. That makes sense.
Okay.
One of the first things that we suggest is sort of selecting colleges that they'll want to apply to, like your son decided on, right?
Yes.
Look at their score requirements. Certain schools, they may have certain you know, thresholds for scholarship money, out-of-state or in-state tuition rates, and doing some research and figuring out, you know, where your score's at and then what they're requiring can help you sort of, you know, plan better. And then finally, you know, obviously you want to pick a test date.
Yes.
And the test, as you know, is only offered a few times per year.
Yeah.
And in fact, we just had that ice storm a couple weeks ago.
Right. So he was scheduled to take that test along with a lot of kids. And then that ice delay backed us up to this coming Saturday.
Right. It should have been the beginning of the year.
So hopefully these kids have had a little more extra time to study for the upcoming test. What are the next tests coming up?
So there's one in January, February, there's a March, but these alternate. So one month will be SAT, the other month is ACT, and there's a wild difference between both tests.
Okay.
But really choosing that test date helps you plan around extracurriculars like, you know, maybe it's football or dance or something like that.
Yes.
Because students, as you know, their schedules fill up quickly.
Yes.
But once they sort of understand, you know, I need to start planning for this, then it's about actually doing the planning.
Yes.
And we feel that, you know, this time during the holidays when you have aunts, uncles in town, maybe a cousin back home from college, instead of playing Call of Duty or going to see a movie or something like that, it's probably a better idea to, you know, use their expertise and enlist their help and help plan these things out.
Okay. Are there practice tests online or something that you can suggest for them to do?
Definitely. Actually, the first thing that a student should do is take a practice test, regardless of whether they wind up enlisting the help of an expert like me or my team, or even studying on their own using a book. What they'll do first is take that practice test. So what we did is we made a practice test available online on our website at WatertonGroup.com/practice test, and there's full instructions on how to take it. And then once they complete it, if they have questions, they can call us at the office or they can score it themselves. But then they'll know where they're at. So then it's just a matter of closing that gap by preparing.
Now, is that practice test geared toward the SAT or the ACT?
We have both. So there's an SAT and an ACT. And it's really, it's actually kind of important which test to take, whether it's the SAT or ACT. Certain-minded students perform better on one of the tests, as you know.
What is that? Yeah, I have learned myself, but what is the suggestion on that?
So a good idea, or I'm sorry, a good rule of thumb would be for students who read a lot, who, you know, are more verbally inclined. Typically, the SAT is a better test.
All right.
It may come as a surprise to you.
Yeah.
Does your son read?
Yeah.
No, sometimes no. Maybe for school.
Yeah.
And then usually more science-minded and math-minded students who don't read at all, ACT all the way.
That's where he did better.
Yeah. And there you go. So that makes sense. Usually, not to be, you know, gender-specific, but usually, you know, boys who are more, you know, math and science-oriented perform better on the ACT. Okay. It's not surprising to me.
Well, thank you so much for this information. I feel like you and I could probably talk another hour about this because I feel like I've already learned so much, especially just this is my first and my oldest. So we're just learning as we go along. And my advice would be make sure your kid takes that SAT in June. Because we missed that date and it kind of backed us up. But I know a lot of kids are applying in December. And so this is the time. I really appreciate it. We're going to get practicing on those tests. Y'all get out there and check out our website at thebroadcasttv.com for more college information on test-taking tips.